Trenton 365 with Jacque Howard. Profiling the businesses, organizations, and people that make Trenton better.
Good evening, friend, and welcome to the Trenton 365 show. I'm your host, Jacque Howard. You're listening over WIMG 1300, New Jersey's oldest radio station. And you can follow us on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, WIMG 1300. If you're watching, it's over WPHY, Channel 25, covering Mercer County, New Jersey through the Verizon Fios network. Trenton 365 is also available on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well, at Trenton 365. And you can post your events to the Trenton 365 community calendar page on Facebook as well. As we get into this time of the year, folks, it behooves us to think about getting outside. And while we're outside, that is enjoying the wonderful, beautiful things such as the nature that we have in Mercer County, New Jersey, and on the whole East Coast. But there's a couple of things I want you to think about and consider as we move forward. I'm going to be doing a study on skin cancer and skin-related illnesses with people who have more melanin in their skin. That includes Latino Hispanics and African Americans. Because of the rise of the number of people who are reporting skin cancer, such as melanoma, etc., it behooves us to think about some of the products that we're using to put on our skin to protect us. So stay tuned as I bring more information to you about that. You're listening and watching the Trenton 365 show, and we'll be back after a short break.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, talk, touch their hair. Details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones we carry with us every day. Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
Need a truck to move? Let Justin's Rental of Selman's BP save the day. Justin's has the right trucks for all commercial and residential moves. Justin's has the moving supplies and boxes available. Justin's Rental at Selman's BP has everything you need for your move at affordable prices, featuring the best in pickup trucks, 10 and 15-foot box trucks, and vans. Justin's Rental at Selman's BP is located at 2596 South Broad Street, across from the McDonald's in Hamilton. For your rental truck needs, call 609-888-3327. That's 609-888-3327. Justin's Rental at Selman's BP. If you are moving, we have the trucks to meet your moving needs.
Everybody, welcome back to the Trenton 365 show. Again, my name is Jacque Howard. You can send me an email, Trenton, the number's 365 show, SHOW, at gmail.com. Trenton 365 show at gmail.com. In the studio with me, I've got Paloma Santiago, who is a PGA pro golfer and a member of the board, which I am now a part of the Live Golf nonprofit board, Greg Woods. Greg is also a law enforcement officer here in the capital of New Jersey in Trenton. So shout out to him for not only taking care of us and protecting us on the streets, but also being involved in the community. And I'm going to be taking some tips from him and Paloma about golf. He shot 83 earlier today, so I'm already a little bit jealous. So without any further ado, Greg and Paloma, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Sure thing. So Paloma, you've been on the program lots of different times, so just take like a couple of seconds, introduce who you are, and then Greg, I'd like for you to do the same thing.
So my name is Paloma Santiago. I'm a PGA professional in the Mercer County, New Jersey section. And I have a nonprofit that is dedicated to supporting the community with a focus on business of golf and the game of golf. And our mission is very important to us so we can expose the game and mentor people through the business and game of golf.
Fantastic. Greg?
My name is Greg Woods. I'm a Trenton police officer. I've lived in the city my whole life, all 35 years. I was actually involved in Chubby Blackwell's program back in probably 1996, 97. And then when I heard what Paloma was doing, I was really excited. And I actually messaged her and said, if there's any way I could help out, let me know. And then a couple months later, she messaged me, so we're here now.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm always amazed at what we do now with social media, how we can always get connected. Think back to when I was, a teenager or whatever. It was like you had to wait by the phone, or if you had a phone or you had to go to a pay phone. Now it's like, hey, just find them on Instagram or social media and, hey, send them a message, and the next thing you know, you're connected. So back to you, Greg. You shot an 83 today. I want you to talk about a little bit about your level of golf and the course that you played today.
So I grew up, I think I started when I was in 7th grade. So my dad and all my uncles started golfing. So then I was like, I wanted to hang out with them, so that I got involved in that. And that's right around when Tiger was probably his last year at Stanford. So everyone knows him. So that's when the game started becoming real popular. So 2 of my friends back actually in 7th, 8th grade played. So my parents used to drop us off at Princeton Country Club, and we would go play 9, and then they would pick us up. So it was a great bonding experience, and I never really thought anything of it because I played basketball and other sports. But I just love it, and I actually went out with a friend today who it was his first time ever playing 18 holes. So it was pretty cool to be able to give him tips and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm okay. I used to work at a golf course growing up, so I worked there for 4 years in high school. So I always just loved the game, and it just gives you an opportunity to meet a million people that you would never meet anywhere else. So
yeah, that's one of the things that always fascinated me about golf as well, is that it's when you get onto the golf course, especially a public course like the 5 county courses that we have around here, when you get on those courses, it seems like it almost levels the playing field, and you end up playing with such a variety of people. And Paloma, you're shaking your head there because you're not only from the perspective of a professional golfer, but you worked for the county for a while, and on top of that, you've got this nonprofit. So talk about how golf can be a very inclusive sport.
So when I was little and young, my mom worked down the street from Mountain View, and she would drop me off when I started, maybe around 10 years old. So I would get dropped off at 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 p.m. And I would play with so many different people. Luckily, I was able to use the facilities, but it's such an inclusive sport because the amount of people that you see, you don't really see a lot of females, Hispanics, Trinidadians. You don't really see too many of them on the golf course, especially when I was starting out. It is changing. Currently, I do serve with the PGA on PGA lead, so we are definitely trying to shape and mold diversity and inclusion for the future with the PGA. But it's definitely changed a lot, and especially with Tiger Woods winning this last Masters, it's going to change for the better, and hopefully we can see that progress.
In both of your opening segments, you both mentioned Tiger Woods. So I want to add a little bit about the Tiger Woods effect, and I'd like for you to add it as well. Back when Tiger was, at the peak of his game, I remember going to the course, and it was almost like any other sport. You saw young people, older people, women, men, all trying to emulate Tiger. It was even at a point where I remember playing with folks who wouldn't even wear a red shirt because they didn't even want to have the Tiger red on if they weren't playing it at such a high level. So both of your perspectives of the Tiger Woods effect, can you share about that?
He definitely is golf. If you see how many people follow him on the golf course, it's crazy. That is the most amount of people I've ever seen in my whole life at one area. And he is golf. Without it, the game is really nothing.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, it was kind of like an old man sport, so to speak. And now it's like cool to golf. You know what I mean? Everyone golfs. So, do you want to golf? I have a set. I don't really play, but I'll go out. You know what I mean? It's a bonding thing. Even if you don't do good, it's kind of just brings people together. And he was obviously a major part of that.
That's quite interesting. When you talk about the diversity of golf, I know when I first started playing, I mean, the first set of clubs that I had were a hand-me-down set from my uncle, and I think I may even have 1 or 2 clubs still from him, and they were, blades, half rusted, just beat up, and people used to always say, how can you even play golf? It's such an expensive sport. But when I started to break it down and think about it, if you're spending 4 or 5 hours and you pay $30, $40, whatever it is, over that 4 or 5 hours, plus the exercise that's built into it, it's a very cost-effective way of getting exercise, et cetera. And Paloma, you're shaking your head, nodding your head again in approval.
It's a great investment. Just think about it as like you pay for a gym membership. You're paying for an investment, the opportunities that come through golf, and like you said, the health benefits that come along with this sport. And think about it. It depends how many strokes you actually hit on the golf course, and your clubs take a lot of beatings, so you need to invest in a good set of clubs. Definitely.
And Greg, when you first started playing, you mentioned that it was a time for you to spend with your family, to go out with your uncles and et cetera, and to play with them. Who got you your first set of clubs?
My dad. I think we went to maybe Dick's Sporting Goods. It was just a cheap set, like starter set. And then I slowly worked my way up. But like I said, it was always just fun. Like my dad would tell me, oh, do you want to go out Sunday morning, me, you, and your two uncles? I'd be like, yeah. I was so excited. I'd wake up an hour early just to go. It's just a bonding thing. And no matter what I shot, I would always win. But even if I didn't, I would, just to be out there. It was just fun.
Now, Paloma, you are well documented in Mercer County as a golfer. Share about your time golfing in high school and then the transition to college and then returning back to this area.
So high school, I was kind of looked at by the golf coach, Coach Z, and he would be like, oh, you're coming on my team. I remember I went to one tournament where we played against Petty, and the Petty coach is like, oh, you're coming to Petty. I'll do anything to get you on my team. And Z's like, no, you can't have her. So he was really a good support, definitely, for high school golf. I played on an all-boys team. So making the transition to play into college was a little difficult because I went into playing on an all-girls team. So it was definitely different environment, but it taught me a lot, and it taught me definitely on competitiveness and also on teamwork, and definitely shaped me into the person that I am today. I wanted to give back to my community, so I came back to Mercer County, and I started in the Trenton area with Mr. Chubby Blackwell, and seeing that he has helped me so much, I definitely feel like it's so important to give back to the community in which you started, especially because you want to see it grow and you want to see it succeed in the future.
And I think that it's important for folks to know that you played on the all-boys team, but in your senior year, you were the captain of the team. Can you talk about how golf, even though like you're playing with a different gender, your skill level was leveled out the whole situation, where it wasn't just, it was more than males and females competing with each other. Can you talk about that?
So it's more on, at the end of the day, it's all about the numbers.
There you go.
And if you're shooting low, you're on top. So that was my standout compared to the rest. And I guess it was a great leadership experience, and I definitely look forward to helping other people build that leadership.
Now let's talk about Live Golf. And Greg, I want you to chime in here as well when the opportunity presents itself. So you start this nonprofit organization, Live Golf, and it's on social media platforms. People can see a bunch of the videos and things that you've put up and that you've shared. So you started this nonprofit, and the idea, I know, was to support growing the game of golf. But other than that, what was the impetus behind that?
And the business of golf. So I really wish I had a mentor to show me, like, hey, if you want to get into playing golf professionally, this is what you need to do. If you want to get into the real estate part of golf, if you want to do like golf management, anything that's involved in golf has so many aspects of business behind it. People play golf. I know I went on an interview for finance, and he looked at my resume, and the only question he asked me in that interview was about my golf game. It wasn't anything about the job. So it's really interesting to see how much golf is important to people of any workforce or anything. So it's really great, and I definitely want to bring that to people's attention, that there's so many opportunities out there, and Live Golf will show you the opportunities and help you go through them. Because I definitely wish somebody said, play more tournaments, do this, so that I could be where I wanted to be at this point in my life.
And Greg, your thoughts about being on the board of a nonprofit golf organization?
Well, I mean, like she said, like the mentorship part, that was the biggest thing for me. Because even when I did my interview for the police academy, they said, why do you want to become a police officer, etc. And one of my big reasons was if I could change one kid's life, that's all, then I'd be happy in 30 years. And so the same thing with that. If I could just help one kid change his life just through golf, then I'd be happy. You know what I mean? That's all I care about. So, like, and then the kids see me in the community, and they say, hey, I know him at Officer Woods or whatever. And then they know they have a friend in me, and someone they could look up to. So,
so I do a lot in the community, most folks know, and hearing a law enforcement officer, someone who's born and raised in Trenton, to say that just warms my heart, because I think that that is more of what we need. We need more people to come out and say just what you said. Like, I want to change one life. I want to make an impact on someone else, not just so I can gather what I can do like a squirrel, gather my nuts and go hide off into the side, but I want to make a difference in the lives of other people and in the community where I live. And that's a big deal, man. So publicly, kudos to you. And I'm looking forward to our friendship developing through Live Golf and on the golf course and beyond. But that really just warms my heart. So Paloma, you talked about the mentorship and the business aspect of it. And I understand that and where that's going with Live Golf. But I want you to talk about the diversity as well, because I know you're of Latino, Hispanic, and Trinidadian descent. So you are like a minority of minorities of minority that's involved in this game of golf. And where do you see this going, and what are some of the objectives you'd like to accomplish with your diversity?
So we definitely want to include everybody, race, gender, age. We do not limit anybody from joining Live Golf and its programming. We definitely want it to succeed in the future and help you throughout high school, college, beyond college. I still need mentorship. I'm 24 years old and I still need somebody to tell me, hey, I'm still with, like, this is where you need to be. This is what you need to do to get to this place. And of all races, all anything, nobody is excluded. And we definitely want to bring that to the golf course because you don't see that too much. Even in management, you don't see it. So we definitely want people of color in management. We definitely want females in management. And definitely our generation, things do need to change with golf.
Oh, great. Now, I want to know, you're very outspoken about your diversity, and you're very open about, hey, I played on the boys team at school and I rocked. I was captain of the team. You've got lots of different news publications and documentations of what you've done with this game just in a short amount of time of your life. Have you had anyone from Trinidad or any of the Latino Hispanic countries reach out to you to hear more about how you can be a part of their efforts with growing the game of golf?
I have not, and I would love that opportunity. I definitely want to expose this to everyone. It doesn't even have to be limited to New Jersey. Anybody that's interested, different countries, states, anything. We're willing to help anybody that is interested and wants to put effort in learning about the business of golf.
So the folks in Trinidad and in the Latino Hispanic communities, not only in America, but also abroad and in other countries, you've got a PGA pro golfer here who's looking to work with you. And I think it might make sense for you to reach out to her at Live Golf. Share your contact information, and I'm going to transition and talk about how you and I and the rest of the board members are going to work with Live Golf.
So follow me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Live Golf Enterprise, and my personal is facebook.com/Paloma Santiago PGA, Instagram /Live Golf _, and email me if you're interested or want to help out in any way. My email is livegolfenterprise@outlook.com.
Awesome. So my radio, TV, media exposure, I'm going to do what I can with that, from that side with Live Golf. You're welcome. But I also have a background in fashion. So I know that you're also a bit of a fashionista.
Yes.
And you've participated in a couple of photo shoots that I've done. And you've got this idea that you want to have a golf line of clothing as well. Let's talk about that.
To make it more modern. It's so old-fashioned. We definitely have to make it more modern, sporty, and breathable. Jesus. Better for tan lines, anything. Definitely want to better the golf apparel in women, men, anything. Youth. Definitely for youth. We got to get our kids involved in golf. Any age. Not discriminating.
Awesome. And Greg, what are some of the things you're looking to bring to the board besides shooting at 83 early on in the season and mentoring with some of the young folks?
No, I mean, I want to, like, my job allows me to be in the schools with the youth, so get them involved. I mean, I see them. They love all the sports. Like, any sport you put in front of them, they will love. So the earlier they can get involved, the better. So any way I could help, I would love that. I also love fashion as well, so any way I could help with that, I would love too.
Oh, that'll work too. Yeah. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
All right, so going forward, I know our board meetings, we meet on a regular basis. We have a lot of great energy. We've got a laundry list of things we want to accomplish, and we have some great folks who are on the board. If you want to shout out any of those names, let's do that, and then let's talk a little bit about some of the objectives and things that we've talked about at the meetings.
Okay, so shout out to Mom.
Well, that's right. I'm glad you did that. Yes.
Greg, Jacque, Tanisha, John Costin, Mike, Harold Hall. We do have Mr. Chubby Blackwell's daughter,
Awesome.
R.E.A.C.H. And if I'm forgetting anybody, I don't think I am. But thank you for being a part of this and for supporting me and the nonprofit. I can't thank you guys enough.
Mm-hmm. Great. You know, before we go into finishing up talking about some of the objectives and forthcoming things with Live Golf, I want to go back to your mom, because I met your mother before meeting you. And so meeting your mother, I know she was always determined and a super strong support, and not a helicopter parent, but more of a parent who is going to book in what you're doing. So talk about the relationship that you have with your mom, one, and also her support.
So we are very close. She got me involved in golf. If it wasn't golf, it was going to be soccer, but everyone plays soccer, so it was something different. She pushed me. Yes, she was a helicopter parent. Oh. I actually quit golf. I did quit, and then one day I was just like, I can't stand it. I have to go back. And she didn't come to any of my tournaments anymore. She backed off completely, and it was all me from there. And I can't thank her enough for keeping me involved in this sport. If it wasn't for her, this business, this nonprofit wouldn't have even started. She's just a really good support system.
That's great. So, Francis, you were a helicopter parent, but now you're not anymore. So thank you for moving on. She is a young woman here, so that's great. All right, so what do we have on tap for Live Golf coming up?
So we will have a banquet in July. We're going to do some fundraising for that. If anyone is interested in sponsoring, we do need some help. We are looking out for a grant writer for any of that, and we also are searching for sponsorship for equipment and for use of facilities for the programming. We definitely are going to continue building awareness and mentorship out there, opportunities for people. We do not discriminate by age, so if you are interested, please come on board, give us a call, give us an email, you name it.
All right, let's share that contact information again.
Email is livegolfenterprise@outlook.com, facebook.com/livegolfenterprise, and then my personal one is facebook.com/Paloma Santiago PGA.
All right, now I'm going to throw you a curveball here. And, with this whole media thing, folks, you can look on social media. If you look up Paloma Santiago PGA Golf, you'll see a whole slew of videos. And some of the videos are quite interesting, where you're hitting tee shots in heels or in business apparel, etc. And I know when I share those, people go crazy about that. So how has social media really helped you with Live Golf?
So social media really helped me to get awareness out there of golf, because it's becoming a bigger sport now. And I do the heels and the jeans because it doesn't matter what you wear. Get involved in golf. I know that you go to the course, they're like, oh, you don't have attire, you can't wear jeans, you can't wear this, and it's like, who cares anymore? It's like, let's get everybody involved. Let's stop limiting people. Let's start bringing people to the course and stop excluding everybody. It's like there's no need anymore. Let's get everybody. That's why golf is failing, and we need to turn it around and bring everybody along.
So modernizing and relaxing some of the rules in the game of golf. Well, actually, I think on the PGA Tour itself is actually working on doing that as well.
Absolutely.
But at the same token, I think them putting more restrictions on the women also tells us a bit more about what the LPGA is doing. And from your perspective, would you like to share anything about that? I know that may be a touchy subject.
Yeah, but I just think that they just need to stop excluding and just let golf be golf and better it for the better.
All right, Greg, would you like to chime in a little bit about where golf is currently and where you think or like to see it go?
Well, I wanted to touch on something she said about her mom being so involved and like how my parents were. That's one of the big things I want to get involved too for people whose parents aren't around. So I would love to be the mentor for a kid whose dad doesn't golf or isn't around, or mom, they're just too busy with work or whatever. So I know how important that was for both of us. So I would love to do that for as many kids as possible. You know what I mean? But
so I just thought of something. So that right there is another opportunity for those of you in the listening and viewing audience to get involved with Live Golf. Is if you have a young person who has an interest in golf and maybe you or some other parent or guardian doesn't have an interest or doesn't have a knowledge, this is an opportunity for you to maybe connect with Live Golf, and maybe we can scoop them up as a mentor in some capacity. And then I'm going to come back to you before we finish up to talk a bit about the teaching aspect.
Yes.
But Greg, anything else you want to add about golf in general, the sport and the game of golf, and where it is and where do you see it going?
I mean, I think it's only getting more popular. If you go on any Instagram, Facebook, it's huge. Like, not just the game, like she said, fashion, social media, everything. It's just everyone plays. Like, even if you're not good, you could just play just for business. You can meet so many people, and like you were saying before, it's kind of level playing field. So you could be out there golfing with a CEO, and you could be the lowest person at the company, but then you become friends. So you just build relationships and help your career that way. You know what I mean? So
that's great. So it's actually a business opportunity as well.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, one of the awesome experiences I remember, I was playing with a pastor over at Princeton. It was a few years back, and he was 80, I think it was 86 or 87, and he shot his age.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he wasn't long.
Yeah.
He was just straight. 150 down the middle, second shot 150, two putt. That's all he did.
I mean, that's
Pastor
another
John.
thing, too, is you could play forever.
Yeah.
Basketball, there's this time when you can't run up and down the court anymore. Golf, you could play until you're 90. You know what I mean? So
That's great. So, Paloma, as a PGA pro, a large percentage of your education and your time is about teaching and learning all the aspects of golf, whether it's club maintenance and design, all those different things. What kind of options are you offering right now as far as teaching goes?
So I do give lessons. I do beginner to pro. And if anyone's interested in learning the game of golf, making it a hobby, I am available for lessons. A lot of the proceeds do go to Live Golf fundraising. So I'm definitely available. I go from if you don't even know how to pick up a club to I just need a quick fix. I'm your girl.
Great. So are there any particular facilities that you generally work out of with your
I
teaching?
currently teach at Snipes in Morrisville, Pennsylvania. If anyone is interested.
Awesome. Now, do you have any group packages or anything, or do you have opportunities to do group teaching?
Contact me via email, see if we can work something out.
That sounds good. So I'm going to encourage folks out there in the listening viewing audience as well. This is maybe a great time to take up the game of golf. Maybe you can do it with your child or spouses together or some people that you work with. Let's see if we can put together a package and get you out on the golf course together. Start small, maybe even teaching from the range. Then maybe some pitch and putt, and then get you over to a course. All right, so Live Golf representatives, I have Greg Woods, who's on the board with me, and then we have Paloma Santiago. Thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to have you guys back to talk about how we progress. And keep your eyes and ears open for Live Golf, what we're going to be doing in the very near future regarding events, fundraising, and how you can get involved with it as well. One more time, Paloma, the contact information.
Yes, facebook.com/Live Golf Enterprise, facebook.com/Paloma Santiago PGA, and my email is livegolfenterprise@outlook.com.
Awesome. Live Golf Enterprise, just think about that on your social media platforms. And this interview, as well as a bunch of other information, will be shared on the Trenton 365 networks. One more?
I did forget 2 board members.
Oh, sure.
Stacy, she's building our website. Look out for that soon. And I think that's it.
Awesome. All right, great. So Live Golf will be back coming up in the near future. We got a bunch of events and things that we're going to be doing to grow the game of golf. You've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 show. Segment 1 is done, and we'll be back after a short break.
Come on, can we put our hands together? Whoa! to dwell with us in this land. We humbly bow, receive us now. You are God. Anybody agree with that? You are God, yes you are. So Lord, we celebrate. Lord, we celebrate your name. And your greatness we proclaim. We dance and we shout. Come on, say. Dance, we shout. There is no doubt. Oh Lord, you are God. You are God of all. You are God of all creation. So with our hands, with our lips, and everything in us, we can pray. Yeah. For you are God. And you are God. You are God of all creation. So with our hands, with our lips, and everything in us, to you. Come on now, I'm sorry, y'all gonna have to get on your feet one more time. Throw your hands in the air and give God some praise in here, like you know He's done something for you. Come on. Everybody say, with our hands lifted up and our mouths filled with praise, we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. With our hands lifted up and our mouths filled with praise, we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. With our hands lifted up and our mouths filled with praise, we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. With our hands lifted up and our mouths filled with praise, we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. With our hands lifted up, we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. With our hands lifted up and our mouths filled with praise, we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. It's the highest.
And welcome back to the Trenton 365 show. I'm Jacque Howard, creator and host of the program. You can send me an email, Trenton365show@gmail.com. The segments and the off-air stuff, if you're watching on TV, which airs on Friday nights at 11 p.m. over WPHY through Verizon Fios in Mercer County, you can actually see some of the behind-the-scenes action, like when we switch out and we take pictures and things like that. But there's always these great conversations, and you get a chance to kind of see how I am a little silly off of camera. And so my guest is from a performance that is going to take place at Passage Theater, that currently is taking place at Passage Theater. And we were playing around with the enunciation, because I have I can kind of hear a little bit of Espanol, some Spanish, but I can't roll R's or any of those different things. So I do a pretty bad job. But I got Johanna, Tolentino in.
Yes.
And the name of the play is Morir, Sonyando.
Good job.
Yes, I feel good. I'm excited about that. My therapist is going to be happy. I'm smiling, so that's awesome. So, Johanna Tolentino, Morir, Sonyando.
Good job.
There you go. Look at that.
Yes.
So, my relationship with Passage Theater I've had a relationship with them for many, many years. And I'm supportive of not only the community theater, I think the building's awesome.
Yeah.
June Ballinger, and now Ryan Dominguez and Damien and Stelline and the whole staff over there are just wonderful, wonderful people.
Great people.
And I really enjoyed the performances that a community theater brings. Mm-hmm. And when they told me about this performance, I want to say I absolutely pulled back from it just because of the theme, which is domestic violence. And we hear so much more and more about domestic violence. And I just don't, I mean, as I get older, I just don't want to even, I don't want to believe that human beings do some of the things that we do. And so emotionally, it kind of plays with me a little bit. But I wanted to have you on to talk about the play and about the performance and about you. So let's start with that. Let's talk about who Johanna Tolentino is, and this performance.
Okay, so yes, I play Paloma in Morir, Sonyando, and I play the mother who loves her children, loves her children, loves her family, and is very devoted to her children and her family and her husband. But unfortunately, she suffers the hands of her husband, domestic violence. And she has to come to a decision in her life. And of course, it's not the best decision, but she ends up taking her husband's life. She felt trapped. She felt like she had nowhere to go. And that's the decision that she came to in order to escape the violence that she was going through, and also mentally and physically and verbally, but also she became an abuser towards her daughter. So that is the decision that she made in the storyline, to take her husband's life in order to free herself and free her children. She ends up being in prison for 10 years. And then the story takes place in the memories of her daughter, Hennessy's flashbacks of when it happened, when, her mother took her father's life, all the way up to after Paloma gets out of jail, to then just trying to rebuild a relationship that was broken when Hennessy was very, very young, and also her brother. So that's where the storyline takes place. And we're really seeing the story through Hennessy's eyes, and triggers of these memories that bring her back to the past. One of the things that we talked about, whether it's table talk when we were in the rehearsal process for the show, and reading the script with the playwright Erlina Ortiz, who is an amazing playwright. Beautiful. She's not only a good friend of mine, but she is super talented. And I am so happy that this play was, taken up. Passage took it over, and it's put it up on its feet. And then Ryan Dominguez, who is the director and has done a beautiful job guiding us as actors and the whole production. The storyline, we see it through Hennessy's eyes, and the triggers that she goes through in the play that bring her back to the past, the present, and the future, and trying to mend her relationship with her mother and with herself, the demons that she deals with, So it's a very intense story, but I believe that, like Erlina, the playwright who wrote it, it's a story that needs to be told.
I was at the panel discussion for this performance, and I think when most people think about domestic violence, they have in their mind what it looks like. Generally, the male figure causing abuse on the spouse, the female spouse, or children, etc. But we all know that that's not always the case.
No, it's
there
not.
are a lot of opportunities where the roles are reversed. And when I started delving into that, I started saying, abuse is in so many different forms.
Yes,
it's not a matter of someone beating on someone. It's the mental abuse. It's the sexual abuse, rape that occurs, in relationships and marriages, etc. And then the children, having to deal with that on a constant basis. And then saying, okay, even if they transition from the home, bringing that baggage with them into another relationship.
Cycle.
The second and third generations of people we have who are trapped in a cycle and don't even know it.
Yes.
And just thinking, I just picked the wrong person to be involved in a relationship with, not really understanding that it's a lot deeper than that.
Yes, it is.
So the performance, Morir, Sonyando, does it go into some of those backstories a bit?
It does. It covers, with Hennessy's. I have to go back to the role of the character of Hennessy's. And also with Paloma, the character that I play, is, the triggers that bring you back to the past of the violence. But also how... And which is what I was trying to say before, is it's about healing, right? These triggers bring them back to the past, and they're very hurtful. But while they're in the present, it's also a way of helping them heal within themselves and within the relationships with each other. So, we see this in the play as far as not only domestic abuse as far as hitting, but we see my character call her daughter ugly. She calls her a lesbian because she cuts her hair off, or she cuts her hair really short, calls her names, verbal abuse, mental abuse, psychological abuse. So, yeah, there are different types of abuse. And this show for me has also, I have to say, I've been an actress on and off for almost 30 years. And I've done theater for about 12 years, on and off. And now I'm focusing more on film and TV, and I'm trying to get back into theater. But this is the toughest role I have ever played. And it's because I also dealt in my childhood from domestic abuse from my mother. So while we were in rehearsal, I had my moments where I had to stop and I broke down, and I had to deal with that hurt and those triggers. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have dealt with that. I'm grateful to have gone through that, because I've made my choice to break to break the cycle. Not everybody does that, because not everybody knows how to deal with it. I made a decision very, very early on when I became a mom to my oldest daughter that I knew that I had to break the cycle. And I sought therapy and I sought help. Not a perfect parent by any means, made a lot of mistakes. But one of the things that was always in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm not going to do to my girls, what I went through. I'm not going to go there.
I one of the privileges I have about doing this radio and television stuff is that I get to meet such amazing people. And I often get a chance to meet them when they're being very candid and open and honest. And I want to encourage you, because it makes a huge difference.
Thank you.
People do listen. When I'm out and about, people tell me, I heard your program. It meant something to me. I understand what they were going through.
Good.
So thank you for that.
Sure.
And be encouraged. And also, kudos, because
Thank you.
You're welcome. You publicly have stated that it's not going to continue.
That's right.
I'm going to make an action to break that chain and to do something different.
That's right.
And I would assume that it's a constant evolution.
Oh, my goodness.
As we all know.
Yes.
But what you've done is that now you've allowed your children, to get another opportunity,
Yes.
a true start.
Yes.
So, can you share contact information for the performance?
Sure. Passage Theater, we have shows this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Mill Hill Playhouse.
There you go.
The famous historic Mill Hill Playhouse in downtown Trenton. Don't quote me on the address.
That's okay. We don't need that. Everybody should know
where the Mill Hill Playhouse is. Come on,
right.
if you're from Trenton, you should know where that is. We have a performance this Friday, 7:30 p.m. And Saturday, we have 2 performances, a matinee and also an evening. And then Sunday, Mother's Day, we have a 3:00 show. And then the following weekend after that, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
All right, so I have in the studio with me actress who is in theater. She's doing some film. She's going to do some TV. We're going to encourage her. We're going to encourage you to connect with her on social media when I start sharing pictures and her contact information. But I've got Johanna Tolentino from Morir, Sonyando,
Yes.
which is performing at Mill Hill Playhouse for Passage Theater. You're listening and watching the Trenton 365 show, and we'll be back after a short break.
Do you have chronic back pain, knee pain, or arthritis? If you have Medicare or private insurance like Aetna, United Healthcare, Humana, or Blue Cross, you may qualify for a safe, drug-free remedy for your everyday back and knee pain, but you must call now. You may be eligible for a pain-relieving back or knee brace at little or no cost to you. These pain relief braces are ideal for back pain, arthritis, sciatica, leg pain, knee pain, and other painful conditions that make life difficult. Our associates will work directly with Medicare or your insurance company for free. Your knee or back brace will be delivered directly to your door. Imagine playing with your grandkids or enjoying tennis or golf again. Call the National Knee and Back Brace Center to qualify for your Medicare or insurance-covered knee or back brace.
Call 800-416-0773. 800-416-0773. 800-416-0773.
And welcome back to the Trenton 365 show. You can send me an email, Trenton, the number's 365 show, SHOW, at gmail.com. I do answer the emails. Sometimes it takes me a little while. If you have a show suggestion, you want to connect with me so you can connect with someone else who's been on the program, etc. That's a perfect way to do that. You can also find me on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Trenton 365. In the studio with me is Johanna Tolentino from the play Morir, Sonyando, which is I'm getting better at it.
You
right?
are. You're doing a great job.
Which is taking place at the Mill Hill Playhouse by Passage Theater. And you all know, if you listen to the program, how supportive I am of that organization and what they're doing for community theater and being such a strong professional theater here in Trenton. So, Johanna, you touched a little bit on some of your background. Mm-hmm. I want people to get the understanding of how important this play is, but I don't want people to think that you, as an actor, an actress, as a professional, that you are pigeonholed to just do this. I want people to get the whole perspective of who you are and your talent. So let's share a bit about your background, some of the other performances that you've been a part of, some of the things that you're passionate about, and some forthcoming gigs.
Oh, thank you. Okay, let's see. Well, I work as an actress. I work on film, TV, and stage. I haven't done stage in almost 6 years, going on 7 years. The last production I did was in Philadelphia, the musical, The Buddy Holly Story at the Walnut Street Theater.
Oh, cool. That
was an amazing production with amazing cast and crew. And I made a decision almost 7 years ago to kind of just step away from the theater world for a little while and focus more on film and TV. And it has been an unbelievable journey. And I love it. I like kind of balancing everything out, well-rounded, I guess. Let's see. TV, I worked 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, with Russell Crowe on The Loudest Voice, which is he portrays Roger Ailes. That airs next month on Showtime. So I'm in the last episode with him, and that was an unbelievable experience to work with such a master. The man is a beast. A beast. So it was like being in a master's class, master acting class with him. Last year I worked in Law & Order SVU, in Gotham, which aired, the Gotham episode I was in aired early this year, because this was Gotham's last season.
Now, which episode? Because my daughter, she's probably not listening, but she is a Gotham nut.
Oh, yeah?
And I was
a Gothamite.
Thank you. She's a Gothamite. I got to remember that. Maybe I'll go home and I'll sound like I'm cool.
You're gonna win brownie points with that one.
Yeah, I hope so. She's kind of tough, but she's a huge Gothamite, and loves it. So, what episode were you in?
I believe the second episode. Yeah, episode 2.
So, season 2, second 2?
No, the last season, season 5, which was this last season, because they
season
just
5,
episode 2. Yes.
All right, and what was your character?
I played the homeless middle-aged lady.
Homeless
middle-aged lady. The longest character name ever.
All right, cool.
Yes.
I'm going to try to get some brownie points with Maddie and say, look, I know her. I know she's on the show. She's going to be like, yeah, all right, whatever, Dad. And just move on to something else. So what else do you have coming down the pipe?
Well, right now I'm auditioning. We're my little team that represents me, which they're amazing. They're trying to get me out of the co-star box and get me into the box of recurring in series regular roles for film and television. So that's the next step that we're taking as far as getting me in the door with casting directors in New York, LA for those roles, that have more depth. I've been blessed to work pretty consistently the past 3.5, almost 4 years in TV, booking the co-star roles. And if one comes my way, I'm not going to turn it down because work is work. But you have to be very careful not to be put in that box. And that's all you're thought of, of just playing the housekeeper or the maid,
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to give you that opportunity because the subject material for Morir, Sonyando is so particular that I don't want people to think that this is the only thing that you can do. But, you educated me because, again, my Spanish is like, it's not there, right? So what does that actually mean?
So Morir Sonyando comes from a Dominican drink that is made with orange juice and milk. Okay? I've had it. Not my favorite, but okay, a lot of people enjoy it. But it also covers the storyline of Morir Soñando means to die in your sleep peacefully, or to die dreaming peacefully in your sleep. And that's what happens in the storyline when Paloma decides to take her husband's life.
While he's sleeping.
While he's sleeping.
Well, I guess for his sake, it was probably better, but...
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly.
She took his life. So I don't want you to give too much away about the performance. And I would assume that it probably goes through such waves of emotions where there's
my goodness.
like beauty and joy and love and passion, and then boom.
Everything.
All this other stuff
it is a roller coaster of emotions. Like I said, the toughest role, not just because of my own healing process with the material and my past, but it is really difficult. The transitions that we make, not just from lighting cues and music, and then there's video. There's documentary that they shot of my character that is also put on screens in the show when Paloma's in jail, and of her son, Felix. But the transitions that we all go through as actors in this play, from happy to sad to angry to crying to overjoyed to making jokes. It is, when we're done, we have to go downstairs and decompress. It's really, really tough. So I'm very happy to have booked this role as an artist because it has given me the freedom to be and to work on material that I know in other, even in film and TV. I hope I get the opportunity to portray a role like this, but there's not a lot of roles like this for us. There really isn't. So I was very happy to be a part of this because when I read the script, I said, this is a role that I have to play. I have to play. I was a little reluctant because of the subject matter, and I didn't know how I was going to deal with it emotionally. But I was like, you don't see roles like this. Not for us, not for people of color. There are not a lot of roles like this out here.
I want to jump in there, Johanna, because I think that is important, and I want to use this platform as an opportunity for the folks who aren't people of color to understand what we are trying to do here. If you take all of the roadblocks and how much was put in place for us not
Yes.
to get to the place where we are now.
Yes.
To be able to be here, which is why we're almost like, yeah, we want to do more. We want to expose more. We want to tell you more.
Exactly.
Because so much of what our voice...
We have a voice.
Yeah, because before, so much of our voice was silenced.
Yes.
So can you talk about the importance of being a person of color, particularly a Latino Hispanic woman, in this media field that is dominated by people who are different than you are? Can you talk about the importance of what you're doing?
It's very important. Again, we have a voice, and these stories need to be heard. It is domestic abuse, yes, but it covers so many different types of abuse that a lot of people don't want to talk about. First of all, in our community, therapy?
Preach.
I ain't going to therapy. What? We don't need that. 1. 2, people, not only of color, but people outside of our community or in our community that are not people of color, I should say, need to see our struggles and how we deal with it. That not everybody decides to do these kinds of things because they're evil, because there's something wrong with them. Sometimes this is all they think that they have to get out.
I really want you to drill down on that, because I think that's also something else. I think it's easy for people who don't have a perspective of someone's life, whatever that life is, and just say, oh, well, why don't they just leave? Or
there you go.
Why don't they just change? Why don't they just go to the police or go stay with another family member, not realizing that a lot of those options sometimes aren't available.
They're not available. And the psychological abuse that people go through when you're going through these types of domestic abuse, you really feel trapped. You really feel like there's no other choice. It's either go, leave, run away. That's a great option. But then you're afraid for your life because that person might come and not only take your life, but take your children's life. And it's happened over, and over and over and over, unfortunately. Or they take that other person's life that is the abuser, and then they end up in jail. But that's their only way out, which was Paloma's choice in this. And then, or they go and get help, psychological help, emotional help, or whatever. Like they go to a place like Women's Space, which we have here in Trenton, which is an amazing organization. So the emotional and psychological abuse that we go through, and I say we because I was a victim. I'm not a victim, but I'm a survivor, is intense. And I have to go back to slavery, man. I got to go back to that. Being whipped, being told you're no good, you're this, you're that. You start to believe it, right? Same thing in a domestic abuse. For people of color or people that are not of color. For people in general that are going through something like this. When you're being beaten, manipulated psychologically and emotionally and being told you're nothing and you're ugly, go get a job, I'm going to kill you. You're worthless. You can't even get a job over and over and over. You start to believe it.
Yep.
So the emotional and psychological abuse for a lot of people is so intense that sometimes the only thing that they could think about doing is something drastic like murder.
So we've got just a couple of minutes left. And I always try to end my segments and programs on a high note.
Yes.
I'm going to be at one of the performances, probably the closing weekend.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to seeing you perform and your craft.
Thank you.
But you were hesitant to say that you're a survivor, and I'm not sure if you've got a word that you want to use, but I know that there's something that you want to tell the ladies, the men, and the women who are in this kind of a situation. What would you like to say to them?
I mean, I guess I should say I am a survivor. I don't like, let me rephrase that. I don't like to speak of myself as a victim. I don't like the word victim.
Yes.
I guess that's the best way for me to put it. I like saying warrior. I like using more of a warrior. I'm a warrior,
that'll work.
which
That'll
falls
work.
in there with survivor as well. Okay. Yeah. I will say this to the women or men, because there are men that are also being beaten by their spouses, by their female, whether it's a girlfriend or a wife. There's men that there are men out here that also go through this as well. If you're in a relationship that you are being psychologically, emotionally, or physically, sexually abused, there is help out here. There are hotlines. There are people you could call. There are organizations like Woman Space that you could go to and they could help you. There is help. Don't give up. Talk to someone. Call someone.
Great.
There is help.
Excellent. Johanna Tolentino, thank you very much for coming on to the program.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I look forward to seeing you do your thing on stage.
Yes.
You've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 show, heard Tuesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. I'm Jacque Howard. Have a great and fantastic night, friends.